Hey everybody, welcome back to the Johnson City Living Podcast, where we learn about the people, places, events, and flavors that make Johnson City just the best doggone place to live in the whole wide world. Today, we have someone who's a little further away than the normal guest. They've traveled all the way from Moscow to Johnson City just for this podcast, just so you guys get to learn about him, because there really aren't any other podcasts out there except for this one. And so he traveled all the way to Moscow just to be here on the Johnson City Living Podcast. That's awesome. Thank you for coming this far. I think you get the most distanced guest award ever.
I'm honored to have this. It took me 8 years to get
8 years
here.
to get here. Were you going by bike and boat, like a rowboat?
Yes.
That's a long time, and I really appreciate it.
Of course.
So you were just 20 when you started this journey.
Yes.
And now you're here. It's all coming together.
Yes. It's good to have a long-term goals.
Well, everybody, this is my new friend, Andrei Sigunov from Russia. And he is a PhD candidate in experimental psychology at East Tennessee State University. Thanks for coming on the podcast, my friend.
Thank you for having me here. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrei. Happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. And so Johnson City Living Podcast, we always ask everybody, what's the one thing you love most about Johnson City? And I'm going to let you just pick. I'm not going to cut out anything for you like I normally do, because I'd like to hear maybe 2 or 3 things that you like about it.
Oh, I can pick several.
You can pick several.
Okay. First, people.
People, that's the number one answer on the board all the time.
I'm not surprised.
We're so sweet here, aren't we?
Yeah. Then nature.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for like I was born and raised in Moscow. It's a big city. I spent several years in Virginia, pretty rural areas, but it took time for me to get used to these background.
The mountains, just in the background all the time. They're beautiful.
But now, just living here and being like 5 to 10 minutes drive from like gorgeous hikes. Oh, amazing.
It is. It is awesome, isn't it? Just the scenery and the lush green. How does it compare to Moscow?
Oof, completely different. First, because of culture, like completely different culture. Even without referring to science, because we can talk about that like from scientific perspective, and we have multiple cultural dimensions, talking about individualistic cultures and collectivistic cultures, talking about like how people plan like differently, all these things, but I mean completely different. I don't know where to start.
Okay.
So that's why I'm kind of like
let's go. Yeah. Let's go back to what was life like growing up in Moscow. I mean, I think we as Americans have been we've been brainwashed with movies we see and just things that,
it's interesting because it was it was the same, but from completely different side in Moscow, because when I was growing up, me as a kid would go crazy if young Andrei knew that current Andrei will live in the United States, will go to the university in the United States, because we had all these TV shows showing us American lifestyle, and we were so big fans of that. Before we started our podcast, we talked about ER, a TV show.
Yeah.
We watched Scrubs when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
And I mean any other different TV shows, and me as a kid, I was dreaming of life like that.
What? Tell me why you wanted to leave Moscow to come to America.
I first time kind of I always I loved and still love to challenge myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the opportunity, and I'm super fortunate, because not that many people in Russia, especially right now, I don't want to get political, but especially right now, it's hard to leave Russia. I had this opportunity to leave Moscow and try myself here. I decided that I need to try and see how it goes.
Okay. Are you on a visa or are you working to become a citizen?
I'm a citizen
Oh, great.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome. Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah.
As I said, I was fortunate because part of my family, they are American citizens. So it was easier for me compared to many people. Yeah. So, but I was born and raised in Moscow, Russia.
Gotcha. Yeah. And how did you choose tiny little Johnson City on the map, right? I mean, we're
Oh,
like a speck of dust in the on the world.
okay. So,
Or did the Lord choose it for you? Because
literally,
I'm thinking that's more
uh,
accurate.
because I, my academic journey is like, I don't really like saying God's plan, but it's like the great example because when I was in my undergrad, I did my undergraduate studies in Moscow. I studied pedagogical psychology. I was horrible student. That's the story I tell to every student I have right now because as a part of PhD program you have to teach. So uh,
You're
I
like,
t-
it's okay to be
I
terrible.
I tell my students like don't be like me, like be like me in the grad school.
There you go. Like,
because at that time, like one specific thing about education in Russia is um, so there's a mandatory military service in Russia, and the only way to avoid that is to go for higher education.
right. So even women and men, or
No,
just the men?
men only.
So the men only. Every man has to serve in the military.
Yes.
Right. How many years?
1 year.
Okay.
1 year mandatory, and then if they would like to stay, they can sign a contract.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I didn't want to go to that. I didn't want to go to military, so I decided to go to university. And like my family, they all have a pretty significant education background. My mom, she's a teacher of Russian language. My dad, he had 2 higher degrees, I believe. So I went for psychology because I loved talking to people,
Yeah.
and that was my whole reasoning for that. And I didn't
Pretty simple. You just like talking to people, so you're going to go into
at
psychology.
that time, yeah.
Gotcha.
So I realized pretty quickly that I don't want to stay at the university there. So my main goal became a musician. I went crazy about making music, and I did sound production. I did rapping. So I was a rapper in my.
You want to bust one out real quick for us?
Uh,
Lay down a beat, Mitch. I'm just kidding.
I know. But
He started sweating. He was like, "Oh man."
Yeah, I was about to switch to the Russian rapping style.
Oh, hey. I mean, if you want to throw some down, that would be the first one. You're the first person from Moscow on the podcast, and then you'd be the first Russian rapper we've had, which would be like, I mean, I don't know that it would get any better. I think we just shut it down after that.
Like the moment then this podcast peaked.
Yeah, it peaked right there, Andrei. You brought it all the way to the top.
Yeah, but so I somehow finished my degree there. Somehow, because like literally I had like one professor, we were in conflict. I had to retake an exam with her like 8 times. It's a bit different in Russia. Like we have verbal exams. If you fail, they allow you to retake it. So you don't have to retake like the whole class.
Gotcha.
But still, it was eight attempts.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So that says a lot about how.
Well, it could have been something super hard. I don't know.
Not really. It was kind of like a basic social psychology class or so.
Okay. Gotcha.
So nothing sophisticated, not neuroscience yet.
Okay.
So then I moved to the United States and I realized, okay, it's impossible for me to make a music career here because the industry here much bigger. And back in Russia, I had some connections. I made music for a living. It was not stable, but it gave me some money,
Mm,
so I could pay my bills.
gotcha.
So okay, I started thinking what I can do, and at the same time, I went crazy about fitness and bodybuilding, so I started reading science a lot.
Mm.
And then I started going to community college just to have some credits, and I realized, okay, probably med school. Then,
Did you go to med school?
no,
Okay. Did you apply or took
so
the
my
MCAT?
my GPA was 2.9 or
So a
2.8.
little harder to get in with that.
Yes, my GPA at community college was 4.0, so like I tried to highlight that in all my
Right. I just
applications.
went
So
to community college, and they're like, "Well, you gotta."
no, I mean
What about your other
like
school? Yeah.
I have an undergraduate degree, so I took pre-med prerequisites. So here's how
Oh,
I
I
did.
got you. Right.
That's how I did there, but still like, and then I basically had several options. Either I will try to apply to any master's program,
Uh-huh.
or I will go and get another undergraduate degree to make up for what I had.
Gotcha.
So we decided, like me, my family and I, we decided that probably master's degree would be more efficient
Okay.
way. So I started applying to schools based on some kind of my interests, including science, research, and the only graduate program that accepted me was Liberty University.
Oh, yeah.
And at the same time, I started considering faith in a bit more mindful way, because most of my family, they're Russian Orthodox Christians, but it's kind of like social piece. Like we go to church because we have to.
Yeah.
Like if something happens, we have cross. God bless. That's it. So like I read the Bible before, but it was not the same way as I do it right now, like as I do it now.
What's the major like denomination in Russia?
Orthodoxy, Russian
Orthodoxy.
Orthodoxy,
Okay.
because yeah,
Which is very formal, very
it's very strict.
very strict.
I would
Yeah.
say that, because like the main difference here, because right now I go to Baptist church and I follow Baptist traditions. In Russia, in Russian Orthodoxy, the main thing was Jesus sacrificed himself, so you have to suffer
Oh.
to
So
get
you do have
to
to do
get
it
to
too.
get to be saved. And I, like being a child, like I didn't get that.
Right.
Thanks to my mother, like she taught me that God is about love. So
And that's why Jesus sacrificed himself, because he loves us.
yes,
And
exactly.
he took the whole deal, so you don't have to sacrifice.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And so I think it's so interesting, different perspectives on it
Yeah,
all. But,
right.
and I think people make it way too complicated, right? I mean, like, just love, one, you have to know about him. And then the more you know about Jesus, the more you want to know about him. And then you want to emulate him and live your life the way he taught you to, because it's just a better life, And then, but the best one is when you exchange you say, Jesus, I want you to come in and live in me, and the Holy Spirit comes in you, and it's just a transfer, and you're just like, okay, let's go. And then
And
the power of the Lord is living in us, Andre. Isn't that unbelievable?
that's amazing. And like uh science, to sound like, many people say that science and religion or faith,
Right.
science and faith are something like two different things, which is not.
No, there can't be.
Because like the more I dive deeper into neuroscience, the more I see how the picture I have from these both sides of my life, how how many more details I have.
Right.
Because like at the time, like even though the Bible is the Word of God, it was written by people who didn't know about neurotransmission, who didn't know about opioid receptors, dopamine, blah blah blah. but they saw how things, like what the things are. And now we do science to explain things we cannot explain.
Right.
So they all complement each other.
Sure. And some of it we're never going to explain.
Yeah.
It just, you
And
can't. Yeah.
I mean, many modern scientists, they stay like the way they talk about God, like even neuroscientists, the way they talk about God, they good scientists, in my mind, they don't have to be confident because every like the main thing about hypothesis or something like or your statements, the thing like you don't have to say it's proven because it's just you just didn't find something that might disprove
Yeah.
your hypothesis. So that's why the best thing about science to me is like you have to be open-minded.
Yeah.
And this is something I encourage to all people around me. No matter what your views are, be open-minded. It changes your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not pressuring you to accept my views. I'm not pushing you to change your perspectives. But I'm asking you to listen to me because it helps you to look at the same thing from different perspective,
Mm-hmm.
which is like this one of the most amazing things for me about science.
Yeah. I don't know why some people are so closed off, like to any new idea. They're just like, no, this is it. And this is why. And I'm holding on to it so tightly. You know,
Yeah,
and
I mean,
you could be wrong.
yes, and just look at how fast even modern technologies are developing.
Unbelievably
Like,
fast. Yeah.
could you think about AI couple like decades ago, like
No,
a
I would,
decade ago? No, and the way things are changing, even in psychology and neurobiology. What we had like 5 to 10 years ago is completely different to what we have right now.
100.
And
Yes.
I don't know what we might have in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Just crazy.
It is crazy. I'm trying to find it. I listened to a podcast yesterday with Tony Robbins, and he was interviewing a guy who had made a bunch of predictions about AI,
Hmm.
and his name is Ray Kurzweil,
Okay.
and yeah, he was like just a four, I mean, like forward thinker back in the '90s, and so now they're looking at him because he's like such a savant on it, like like, yeah, anyway, he was talking about just all the things that it's going to do and how we're going to pretty soon you'll be able to like what you're thinking. If you're asking you like, who's that? He was saying, who's that actress in that play? I can't remember. It'll just come to you because
Hmm.
you're tied in. Like it'll be researching it for you and throw it to you. You
Interesting.
know, it's just crazy. So like um, neuro stuff is going to be coming, which is just wild to think about.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Well, so was it your faith that took you to neuroscience that you wanted to study, or
No. Well, yeah. Let's get back to
how you
so
got to East Tennessee?
so
Because you're in
I
Liberty.
yeah I was accepted to Liberty,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the moment. Like at the same time, I started taking my faith a bit in a more serious way because of my mom got diagnosed with her disease, and I didn't really know who I can talk about with.
Right. Who do you talk to that about? That's big,
Yes.
heavy. That's heavy.
Yeah, because that's kind of cultural, but in Russia and in our family specifically, we love each other. I love my whole family, but we're not that open in our feelings.
Gotcha.
So I decided to like not read the Bible, but I just randomly opened the book and read it was Psalms 139, verse 12, one of my favorite, even the darkness is not dark with you.
Mm,
And it was recharging to me. And at the same time, again, like I was accepted to Liberty, at that time I didn't really know how much um of a God they have there. but my advisor there,
Mm.
he had a background in neuroscience, and he helped me to switch from. I initially was accepted by him to IO psychology, industrial organizational psychology. This is a subfield that looks specifically on like business organizations, business processes, and they do a research to optimize these processes, like inside of different organizations to like improve specific deliverables.
Gotcha.
So he helped me to switch from that to developmental psychology, and he introduced me to biopsychology. So I wrote my master's thesis under him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, after defending this thesis, one of the last year PhD students here at ESU, they previously went to Liberty under my advisor, and then they emailed him saying like, hey, I'm graduating. Do you have anyone who could be interested in joining PhD program?
Yeah.
And I was interested, and that was the moment when I like, oh, so Lord, this is you, because I wanted to go for PhD,
Right.
but
Originally, but
I missed all the deadlines because of I was focused on helping my mom. Like, she's still in Russia, and I also was focused heavily on my master's thesis because research.
right.
If you ever go to research, just remember everything that can go wrong will go wrong. Just be prepared.
That's part of it, right? They're teaching you how to overcome
Yeah.
difficulties, and
Yes,
It's just a giant-
it builds resilience.
it's a giant neuroscience project, like anybody who's doing their doctorate, right? It's just you
It's
gotta-
like it makes you more resilient,
Yeah.
definitely. But yeah,
What's your doctorate in you're working on? So you got accepted, and then
Yeah.
we fast forward to today.
yeah.
What are you working on specifically?
So I study alcohol addiction,
Okay.
and my work specifically is focused on neurobiology of alcohol use
Ooh,
disorder
okay.
and how it is transferred from adolescence to adulthood. So we
So
work.
from adolescence to adulthood,
Yes,
you feel
from
like it's so because you hear a lot of it's genetic.
Not like yes and no.
Is it partly? What do you feel like?
Partially. So we have multiple circuits in our brain, multiple regions
Mm-hmm.
that are responsible for rewarding peace, like in
Mm-hmm.
neuroscience.
Like
we-
dopamine hit.
Yes,
Right.
yes. So the idea and why we study adolescence first, because our brain has this feature, it is called neuroplasticity.
Yeah,
Think about our brain as a Play-Doh.
I've heard of this. Yes.
So the younger you are, the more ability for adaptations your brain has, the more neuroplastic
You can
it
and
is.
it's easier to rewire
Yes,
to make those pathways.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So in this case, the younger you are, the more prone you are to forming addictions. And we are interested first to see how much of that is formed in adolescence is transferred to adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
What circuits specifically are involved and disrupted by alcohol use disorder? And we compare those, we do animal models. So we obviously don't recruit adolescents
Gotcha.
and ask them to drink alcohol. No, we study animals. Like, we have a set of rats and we perform experiments with them.
I gotcha.
And then we compare the groups based on how much of the alcohol exposure we have. Like, it's pretty sophisticated study, so I don't want to dive too deep.
Sure. Yeah.
Just because we're kind of limited in time, but
right.
the overall goal is to see like what specifically is transferred
Okay.
from alcohol use disorder, and we interested in specific region which is called amygdala.
The amygdala. Okay.
Amygdala. This is a part of our so-called limbic system. This limbic system is involved in reward, in learning, in memory. So amygdala assigns emotions. You might hear about amygdala in the form of fear hub.
Sure.
It's not 100% correct, so it assigns emotions. It assigns all like any type of emotions, like happiness, anger, fear, mostly fear, because evolutionary fear is the strongest emotion.
Right. So
So we're
alcohol inhibits the fear, I'm sure, and that when you're
so
hitting the amygdala
it is kind of bi-directional.
Oh,
So
okay.
when you when like a subject like consumes alcohol, it's like the activity is reduced, but then when you have withdrawal symptoms, you're more sensitive to stress. And we have multiple systems responsible for, um, let me say it this way. So I'm trying to find the best way to describe it without starting like a lecture on addiction.
Yeah, no,
Like
you're good.
if you want to have this lecture, sign up for a behavioral neuroscience.
That's right.
lecture.
You'll probably be giving a dissertation speech at some point soon.
No, I mean
and-
we have to teach, and I teach
So we
behavioral
can-
neuroscience.
yeah.
So like I covered that, and like usually I do this over 3 classes.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So
it's a lot.
that's why.
So it's a lot. But we're trying. Is the ultimate goal to figure out where in the brain those neuroreceptors are?
No, it's
And how do we rebuild it all?
Studied, so we know what kind of it's like. Okay, it's we are aware of the neural circuits that are involved in forming addictions,
Gotcha.
but the specific model we propose, it's not that it's not used that often.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to look at specific receptors in this specific region of amygdala, which is a pretty novel thing to our knowledge. Like in academia, if you are not sure, say to our knowledge, or it depends.
Gotcha.
But to our knowledge,
To our knowledge.
yes, there are not that many studies that look specifically at subregions of amygdala and at specific kappa receptors.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's high level stuff you're working on, it sounds like.
I hope so.
Yeah. And it's pretty cool that it's happening here at East Tennessee, right?
It is you does a bunch of different and beautiful research. We have so many
Sure.
great people. I mean, I know you had Dr. Diana Moreland previously.
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing. She does a lot of research. We have Dr. Andy Clements who studies addiction and how social connection can help with addictions. She's amazing. We have Dr. Mary Jo Hedrick who studies prenatal substance exposure.
All right.
And
Unfortunately, we have a lot of that.
And she does a bunch of beautiful research helping moms who's been exposed, who's been consuming substances, and helping their children. Like we have so many people doing great works in many different fields, not psychology only.
All kinds of stuff. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes.
It is amazing. What are some of the misconceptions people have about psychology that you would think?
First of all, psychologists, they don't read minds.
That's good.
Second, let me speak from. So what I see many people, they confuse therapy, like clinical psychology, counseling, research psychology. They all combine it to a single field,
right?
Which is like, okay, we can call it psychology, but it has many subfields, even neuroscience. Since I switched to neuroscience, I keep saying my dad when he says like, you're a psychologist, like, partially, but not really, because the way we see the world and perceive the world, it's so multidimensional.
Right.
And I really love talking to my colleagues from social psychology side about the same thing because I perceive many things from perspective of my field, and I see a lot of biological, and I might ignore many social sides.
Gotcha.
They're on the other side, and even if the subfields of neuroscience,
And you're biased because of your upbringing and all that stuff too, a little bit, right?
yeah, but
Yeah, I think it's interesting for sure, and you can probably study and study and study the body and the mind for forever.
it's like there are so many things that we don't know yet.
What percentage of behavior do you think is biological versus environment?
You asked the wrong guy.
Uh,
But I don't want to give you a certain number, but
okay,
I would say it is heavily influenced by our biology.
okay.
And this is the interaction of biology and environment. There's a really cool book by Robert Sapolsky called he has two really good books. Like
Had
the
to be a
one,
Russian guy, right?
not really, but maybe he has some ancestry, but I don't know. I haven't checked. But the one is called Behave, and if you want to dive deeper into biopsychology, neuroscience,
Yeah,
Behave by Robert
that's a good one.
Sapolsky is a great starting point. And the second one, it is called Determined.
Okay.
It's more philosophical because he questions the presence of free will.
Oh yeah.
And depending on your own views, it might change the way how you feel about this book.
Ah.
But the idea is that how conditioned we are
Mm-hmm.
determines a lot.
Somebody I read somewhere it was like 70% of what we do is habitual.
Again, I want to,
Right. You don't want to throw a
I
number.
want,
You're a very scientific guy. I get it.
I
You're
want
like, I don't
to,
want to put a research data point out there that's not been proven or
yeah,
whatever.
no, don't get me wrong. Like, I just don't want to shot with like
Right.
certain numbers, but it's all about interactions with environment and our biological piece, because we can talk about that in different levels because
Yeah.
we have genetic predispositions, we have environmental predispositions, something that out of scope of our control.
Right.
And then it might shape something that will be in scope of our control. Even these traits as resilience
Right.
can be determined by our genetics.
It
And
all comes into play. There's so many facets.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. What are some habits out there that people can adopt today to genuinely improve brain health that you know of?
Oof.
Because you're a muscular guy, you're working on bodybuilding. Do you work on brain building?
It's kind of like my TED talk I give to my students. If you want to perform cognitively on a high level, think about yourself as an athlete, even if you don't plan to be a professional athlete. First, like number one is sleep, and trust me, I would go insane if I will sacrifice with my sleep when I work like heavily. I know, like with our fast-paced world, it's
Mm-hmm.
super hard to get like a normal like 7-ish hours of sleep. I know that. We have so many distractions. We have our smartphone screens that
Mm-hmm.
they disrupt our sleep a lot. But if you will focus on your sleep and getting like around 7 hours, like science says, like 6 to 9, it depends because it's also like we all have different like amount of sleep needed defined by genetics.
Right.
So try to have as much good sleep as you can. That would be number one. Second, nutrition.
Okay.
You don't have to be like 100% like
Super strict.
super strict. Yeah,
Only
like you don't have to be like organic guy, but
fruits
like
and
focus.
vegetables only.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean, these are I know all these advice
So basically
can
just
be a bit of generic.
right.
And then like physical activity again, it shouldn't be like super hard. I just love this stuff, but
Yeah.
just being active,
Yeah.
it helps. Like for me, let's say if I'm kind of like stuck like a brain fog, but I need to work more, like I go for a 10 to 15-minute walk. Helps a lot.
Isn't it crazy how much it does? Yeah. I mean, just getting out of the environment, allowing your body
Yeah,
to.
and like,
So that would be changing your environment
yeah,
or putting your body in stress or something if you want to go work out and come back.
yeah, like reduce stress reduction is a huge one. If you can, like here East Tennessee, it's much easier than, let's say, in big cities, but like being exposed to sunlight for at least like 10 to 15 minutes, we
Yeah.
literally have like specific like photosensitive cells in our eyes
Mm-hmm.
that that helps us, like basically in super simple words, that they build they helps us to reduce stress, they help us to make us like happier.
Yeah.
I love this whole
Isn't it
word
crazy?
happy.
Yeah. Okay, what are you most excited about with your research currently for you personally? And when do you graduate?
Hopefully spring 27.
Okay. So you got another year.
Yeah, the most excited thing, I don't know, I love science as a whole, and I love, it's not like super like science related, because I can talk about my research like for decades, trust me. But I am excited about how many people who are hungry for knowledge we
Mm-hmm.
have here.
Mm-hmm.
I see that, like, I'm, it really warms my heart how many passionate people we have. I told, like, I really, like, one of the things I like when I start teaching or over the course of semester, I try to talk to my students and, like, basically any people, like every person I meet, about why they pursue their degree. Because at the end, we all have to remember like our why,
Right.
our like final goal.
What's our drive? What's getting us right?
Yes, like so that's and see how many passionate people we have here. And I I don't know, like go answering your question. I'm just passionate about research, like being able to do that, because it's it's a good challenge, and it's like being able to produce knowledge
Right.
is something that means a lot to me.
I like it. All right, let's move back to America.
Okay.
What was the biggest culture shock for you when you moved from Russia to the US?
Chit chat.
Chit chat.
Yes.
Like small talk.
Small talk. Yeah.
You don't like it?
It's uh no, not like, it took time to me to figure this out, because we like people in Russia, they don't really do small talks.
Okay.
And like if you start like chit chatting, like they become suspicious. Like,
Mm.
oh, what do you want from me? Why you're asking?
Mm.
And sometimes it like some of my friends, they told me that sometimes it's obvious with me, like they asking how I am, and they can see like I'm trying to process like why they're asking, but they're just like they care. That's the only reason why.
Isn't that wild?
It is love, but and we, like, when I just moved to the United States, we lived in New York for a couple years, so
Mm-hmm.
that was uh
Is that like Moscow? I mean, it's probably both are big cities, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And like it's a common joke, like if you ask Russians how they're doing, instead of saying hi, they start telling you how they are. That's true.
Well, and I think, on a lot of it, we need to be more engaged with people instead of just saying, "Hey, how's it going?" and not wanting to listen and hear about it. Because you may say, it's not going very well. You know, my mom's sick. And so that would give us an opportunity to pray with you, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
take care, see how we can take care of you.
And
So
sorry for
bravo for you guys as Russians to like let us know exactly how you're doing.
You're
So
welcome.
yeah, that's good.
But actually, like figuring out small talks,
Right.
like it taught me how to listen.
Ah, I gotcha. Because you're like,
Because because
why are you asking?
I mean even like right now, like even like through like these small talks, you can hear some things, and if you remember that, there are so many people, and I was like, after I moved here, I was genuinely surprised that people, when I asked about like how they're doing, and they were like, I'm fine. Like, no, I mean literally, how are you doing? Are you interested? That's why I'm asking. Otherwise, I will not ask.
Right.
And that was probably, it's not like culture shock, but I have this, it's kind of weird feeling when you, from one side, people here, they're more open, like dialogue wise, like chat wise. At the same time, in Russia, people, they pursue like this depth. I like, if we try to compare even like linguistic piece in America, if we say, I miss you, right? In Russia, the literal in Russian language, the literal transmission, sorry, translation would be, you're the missing piece of me.
Oh, I gotcha. Wow. Like you complete me, like in Jerry
Yes.
Maguire. Interesting. Okay. Have you found anything that's very similar between Russian and Appalachian culture? How long have you been here, by the way?
8 years.
8 years here in
I mean, in the United States.
in the United States.
Here I'm here for 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Yeah. Similar. Oh, I would say like here in this region, hospitality.
Oh yeah. So that's big in Russia as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if like Russian people invite you to their place, prepare yourself to eat a lot, to stay until the late night.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Big hospitality.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. Okay, tell me, why are you so passionate about teaching? You've mentioned teaching a lot and your students a lot.
I don't know. For me, like like my main goal, like when I started teaching, was to make a class that young Andrei, who hated his undergrad, would enjoy.
Gotcha.
And I consider myself, like, because I'm not that old as an instructor. I'm just showing to all of my showing my students why science is fun. Basically, I'm not like teaching because
Right.
like let's put science aside. Like, I can't put my knowledge into your head.
Right.
Even if I want to, and trust me, I want
Right.
to.
That'd be cool,
because it would it would save so much time if you ask me about addiction, and you know all that stuff, and I can start talking about like limbic system, mesolimbic pathway, mesocortical pathway, dopaminergic, GABA, blah 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 blah.
Right. So you'd I would accelerate to where you are, and then we'd be equals in that field at that point.
Yeah,
and you'd enjoy that more, maybe.
But my goal is just to show, like, okay, this is fun, and that's why maybe you could spend an hour or two doing this stuff. And I, like, as an instructor, I just want to support them, and because I'm certain, like, everything that happens, it happens for a reason. If a person cheated on my class, they cheated that on their own, on a reason. It's not
no cheating
okay,
allowed.
Okay, maybe.
But you were like, it happened. because
That happened, and I like if I see a person cheated in my class, like of course I will start like trying to figure like I will try to figure this out.
right.
Why?
And why? What happened in their mind? Why
Yeah,
was the problem?
because like usually there are like a cascade of reasons
Sure.
for that.
Right.
And I also understand that they don't have to consider my class as their like number one. But I want them to be sure that if they need the support, they will have the support that is needed.
Right.
Because school, university is the safest place to make mistakes.
Sure.
Because that's why we learn. We learn from mistakes.
Right.
Yeah, I can clearly answer why I'm passionate about teaching.
Probably at the core of it, you care about people, and you want to see them succeed.
I'm not the one who's judging about that. Like if people who are around me feel that, then probably yes. If they don't feel that, then maybe that's another reason. I don't want to confidently say yes, I care about people.
Gotcha.
No, I do not.
I can tell you do. But where else you wouldn't have a social media account where you are teaching people about bodybuilding, right?
What's that?
You have a social media account where you teach people about bodybuilding?
I do like.
Tell me about your bodybuilding.
Okay, but just to clarify, like I started posting like some videos related to science.
Okay.
Because I realized that it's fun to make videos, and sometimes it helps to like decompress.
Sure, and it helps you process a little bit too.
Sometimes it's like if it's like solely educational piece, like it helps me to practice how to distribute or deliver content in a more straightforward way, because obviously you have more general audience on social media, even compared to my classroom, because like behavioral neuro, it's a 3-level course, so people had some exposure. But bodybuilding, I compete in bodybuilding, natural bodybuilding.
Natural bodybuilding. Yeah. Okay, tell us about that. How do you compete?
So it's like usually it's like a long process. Like when you decide that, okay, you want to compete, you have to evaluate your current physique, and then you probably start so-called prep.
You set some goals.
So prep is when you set like, okay, let's say November 10 would be a show. So you have to build the plan, including cutting phase, preparing phase. It's I consider bodybuilding like and fitness itself as a kind of research, experimenting on my own, because it has all the same phases. Like you have dependent variable yourself, you have independent variables, like something that you can manipulate with, like your training volume, your cardio activity, your nutrition. You manipulate with all these and see how your body changes. It's pretty humbling experience. Trust me.
No, it is.
And
working out's hard.
I was prepping for my most recent show, fall 2025.
Okay.
So last fall.
How'd that go? Did you win?
I was placed 4th.
Okay.
Which is like it was my very first show. So my biggest like the thing I consider like a win was because I placed 4th, so I still have like this medal.
Nice.
While doing teaching, while doing lab work, while doing all the stuff needed for my all my primary responsibilities. For me, being able to combine all of that was much of a bigger
a lot of
win.
Discipline.
Yes.
To training.
Not gonna lie.
It's not just training your muscles; it's training your mind to overcome with.
Oh yeah.
To make good choices.
By the end of prep, like a couple weeks before the show, I was telling my dad that it started feeling like an extra job, because you wake up, you take a look at yourself, you weigh yourself, you evaluate your physique, If it's fine, you're fine. If something changed, you have to adjust your activity, your nutrition, blah, 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 and keeping all of that in mind, as well as teaching, as well as like grading homeworks, as well as your own classes, as well as your club work,
Your
all the
research.
other
Yeah, you got
stuff.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but again, it was humbling
Are you going to
because
do it again?
I want to do that again. Like, since I'm in my dissertation phase, I don't want to risk.
So you're wait till you get your doctorate and then do it.
Yes,
I got
yes, because
you. I like it.
obviously like I would like to spend more resources.
What do you think? What do you think is going to be harder, the bodybuilding or defending your dissertation? That's a toughie, isn't
it? I would say they're both difficult in different ways.
Right.
Because you both, like in both ways, in both options, like you're pushing your limits. But I would say with bodybuilding, sometimes it's fighting with yourself. Because, I mean, many people talk about motivation, but from fitness perspective, you will never be motivated every day.
Right.
From like science perspective and like dissertation perspective, it requires much more discipline, but at the same time, it's not as structured. You have to
Right.
build this structure yourself. And for me, I would say dissertation would be harder just because there are many more variables you have to consider
Sure.
when doing it.
Or you could say the defense is going to be the easier part because it's short. It's just a day, right?
It will be easier part because at the end, nobody knows your stuff better than you are
That's
because you've
true,
spent
right.
so much time
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
Same thing. If I would
And you're
ask you to defend your views about podcasting,
right.
it will be easier for you because you spend so much
Right.
time doing all of that, and you're the most experienced person in the room. And in the field I study, like in this specific like circuit,
Mhm.
in this specific brain region, and how it's related to alcohol use disorder from adolescence to
Right.
adulthood, I will be the
You will
most
be.
experienced just because at that point I will spend with that like almost 2 years.
You're like a grand champion at that point.
Hope so.
Right. Are you ready for the speed round?
Speed round?
Speed round, where we ask you questions and you just
Okay.
give us
yes.
quick answers.
Okay.
Okay. Favorite thing about Johnson City?
People.
Favorite local restaurant?
Uemaro.
Uramaro. Yeah, that's a good spot. Favorite place to relax in East Tennessee?
Buffalo Mountain.
Ooh, that's a good one. That view's unbelievable at sunset.
Yes.
Favorite book you've read recently?
Oh, that's the tough one. Because I read so much science. Okay, let's say it this way. It's a bit of a cheating, and I'm sorry. I have to be quick, but it is called Master and Margarita. So this is one of my favorite books, like in my whole life.
Master and Margarita.
Yes.
Okay.
So it is written by Mikhail Bulgakov. I read this book in multiple languages, including English. It's just like a great book to think about life, to like just like it's my advice to all of you. You can buy it in almost every bookstore. I checked recently because I love giving this book as a gift to some
Interesting.
friends of
Okay,
mine.
yeah. We'll have to check that out. We'll put that one in the show notes.
Okay.
One scientific breakthrough you'd love to see happen in your lifetime?
Oh, okay. Let's see. I'd say the most effective treatment for addiction.
Okay. There you go. I like it. Coffee, tea,
Coffee.
energy drink, or
Coffee.
something else for during dissertation. Coffee.
Coffee.
Okay. Favorite coffee shop? Do you get coffee
I
frequently?
I don't have a favorite one. I love all of them, but like my top 3 would be Fearless,
Yep.
Dos Gatos,
Yep.
and Blue Brews.
Blue Brews. Okay. What's your favorite coffee?
Just black.
Just black.
Yes, Russian loves to suffer.
Russian loves to suffer. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay. Closing questions. Looking back, what advice would you give your younger self today?
Don't be afraid asking for help.
That's a great one.
You will be surprised how many people around you are actually willing to help.
Gotcha. All right. Last question. If listeners remember one thing from our conversation today, what would you want that to be?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. Let me think. I would say, okay, may I say it this way? Like, I would frame it as a take-home message.
I like it. Bring it home.
If you'd like it. Be curious. Ask questions. And remember that life is full of amazing things we don't know about.
All right. You never know what's around the corner.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you. How can our listeners connect with you? What's your Instagram handle for body?
Follow me on Instagram. It is called You Can Call Me Andrei.
It's called You Can Call Me Andrei.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah, I post mostly, like, right now I post videos about how I write dissertation. It's a kind of like my behavioral contract.
Got it.
And some of like educational videos, opinion videos. Yeah, and some like day-to-day life pictures, usually once a month, like, monthly recap.
Gotcha.
I'm not spending all my time in the lab or in the office.
I like it. I like it. All right. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast. Thank you for being a great East Tennessean. Are you going to stay here the rest of your life? You see yourself living here?
Depending on what comes next.
Yeah.
I would love to stay here, but we never know what's around the corner.
We never know what's around the corner. Exactly. Way to spin it on me. I love it. Well, I've enjoyed learning about your story from Moscow to Johnson City, and I wish you the best. Good luck with the dissertation and the bodybuilding. And next time we have you on, you'll be Dr. Andrei.
Dr. Andrei. Yeah.
Dr. Andrei. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Deal.
All
Thank
right.
you for having me.
Oh, man. Thank you guys for listening. Like, subscribe, share his story. If you want to get into neuroscience, you know how to reach out to him.
Yes, I'll be happy to answer every question you have.
There you go. And thank you again, and have a great day.
Thank you.